Hi there, future scientists and math wizards. Welcome to Smile Road. I'm Sir M, and I created this channel just for you, senior high school students looking to make science and math easier, clearer, and yes, even more fun. On Smile Road, we explore exciting lessons in general science, solve real life problems in general mathematics, and learn how these subjects connect to the world around us, from floating boats to your monthly budget. Each meeting, I'll guide you through lessons using simple explanations, real life examples, and even a few challenges to keep your brain sharp. Whether you're reviewing for exams, catching up on class topics, or just curious about how the world works, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you won't miss any of our learning adventures here on Smile Road. So, are you ready to start this journey with me? Let's walk the road of knowledge with a smile. Our topic for today is about keeping balance, how the nervous and endocrine systems regulate body temperature. This is quarter 3 of biology for grade 11, general science. Again, this is quarter 3 biology lesson number 6. Keeping balance. How the nervous and endocrine systems regulate body temperature. Our intended learning outcomes. By the end of this topic, you, the learners, should be able to A. Explain the roles of the nervous and endocrine systems in maintaining body temperature. B. Identify the specific components. Example, hypothalamus, hormones, receptors of each system involved in thermoregulation. Letter C. Analyze how two systems work together in a coordinated feedback loop manner to respond to both cold and hot stimuli. Illustrate the physiological responses, for example, shivering, sweating, triggered by this coordinated effort. How the nervous and endocrine systems regulate body temperature. The nervous and endocrine systems work together like a sophisticated, interconnected thermostat to maintain a stable internal body temperature, a process called thermoregulation. The key player in this whole operation is the hypothalamus, a small region in the brain that acts as the body's center for homeostasis. It is the bridge between the two systems. The nervous system's role. The rapid response. The nervous system provides the immediate, fast-acting response to changes in temperature. Sensing the stimulus. Your body has specialized nerve endings called thermoreceptors. There are peripheral thermoreceptors in your skin that detect external temperature changes and central thermoreceptors in your hypothalamus and spinal cord that monitor your core body temperature. When you step outside into the cold, for example, your skin's thermoreceptors are immediately activated, sending the signal. These thermoreceptors send a rapid nerve impulse to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, acting as the thermostat, compares this information to the body's normal temperature set point around 37 degrees centigrade or 98.6 degree Fahrenheit, initiating the response. If the hypothalamus detects a drop in temperature, it sends signals via the autonomic nervous system to trigger a series of rapid fire responses. Number 1, shivering. The hypothalamus signals your skeletal muscles to contract and relax quickly, which generates heat. Vasoconstriction. Nerve signals cause the blood vessels in your skin to narrow or constrict. This reduces blood flow to the surface of the skin, minimizing heat loss to the environment. Vasoconstriction and vasodilation. So you see the normal artery and see what happened in vasoconstriction. And then also compare the normal artery with dilation. Piloerection. Goosebumps occur when tiny muscles at the base of your hair follicles contract, causing the hairs to stand on end. This drops a layer of insulating air next to the skin, though it's a less effective response in human than in fur-covered animals. The endocrine system's role, the sustained response. While the nervous system handles the immediate crisis, the endocrine system provides a slower but more prolonged and metabolic response through the release of hormones. This is crucial for maintaining temperature over a longer period. Hypothalamic pituitary axis. If the body's temperature remains low, the hypothalamus doesn't just rely on nerve signals. It also acts as an endocrine organ, releasing a hormone called thyrotropin-releasing hormone, TRH. TRH travels to the nearby pituitary gland, a master endocrine gland. In response, the pituitary gland secretes the thyroid-stimulating hormones, targeting the thyroid. TSH then travels through the bloodstream in the thyroid gland in the neck, boosting metabolism. The thyroid gland, stimulated by TSH, releases thyroid hormones T3 and T4. These hormones increase the body's overall metabolic rate, causing cells to generate more heat as a byproduct of increased chemical reactions. This is known as non-shivering thermogenesis. The adrenal glands also play a part, releasing hormones like epinephrine and norepinephrine that increase metabolic activity. How they work together. The nervous and endocrine systems don't work in isolation. Their actions are intricately coordinated. Responding to cold. When you feel cold, your nervous system's rapid response, shivering and vasoconstriction, kicks in immediately. If the cold exposure continues, the hypothalamus activates the endocrine system, TRH, TSH, and thyroid hormones to increase your metabolic heat production. This two-pronged approach ensures both a quick fix and a sustained solution. Responding to heat. The same coordinated effort happens when you're hot. The nervous system. The thermoreceptors send signals to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus then sends nerve impulses that cause vasodilation, the widening of blood vessels in the skin to radiate heat away, and stimulate sweat glands to release sweat. Evaporation of sweat from the skin surface is a highly effective way to cool down. The endocrine system. The endocrine system's role in cooling is less direct, but it can reduce the release of hormones that increase metabolism, helping to lower the body's heat production. We will have the next part of our Quarter 3 Bio Lesson 6.